Hey folks, I wanted to share a few ideas I had about building community. It's kind of the future. We sort of lost our way in this culture anyway, as far as being, individualistic and nuclear families doing our own thing. It's not sustainable. We need to branch out and get together and make things happen on a grassroots level. Everyone knows that. It's a huge jump from what we're doing to that. And I'm not talking ma pa kettle with like horses and buggies, but just more collectivity, more gatherings and people sharing and doing things together. Not everything's so seclusive and whatnot. I tried to create community with people like Eco Village style, and it was really hard. And I suggest my new thing is forget it. Go with what you've got. Love the people you're with. Reach out more to your neighbors and to your friends and get tight bonds and work that out. Do you know what I mean? But if you really want to create a community, Eco Village style, and there's like 10 of you and you're all going to buy land, it's a great idea. I did a book study with a group of people. Her name was Diana Leaf Christensen. She's brilliant. She breaks it down. Living a Life Together was the book. She's written lots of books, and she's really got it down. Like 80% of villages don't succeed in North America. She did a book on the 20 that do, the 20%. And all the ins and outs. So there's a lot of obvious things like having the same ethics and morals and stuff like that. And then bottom lines, this guy wants horses and this woman hates horses, so they can't live together. Just how to get in and how to get out, to make it nice and smooth. A form of governance. You need a form of governance. Sociocracy, this Diana mentions in her book, and she's obsessed with it now, I hear. But it's a really beautiful form of governance. Look that up, sociocracy. It's fantastic. It's a little bit cutthroat, I guess, and it's like, let's get things moving along, because that's a big problem with anyone that's interested in this kind of living. There's a lot of let's just see, how am I going to say this? Everyone wants to have a say, and everybody wants to have a vote, and everyone wants democracy, and everything has to be decided collectively. Great. And for the most part, we don't know how to do it, and so it's clunky as hell, and it takes forever to get anything done. So if you have a form of governance, a system like this, sociocracy, then it gets things moving along more. You've got a facilitator at your meetings making sure that people aren't talking shit about nothing and that they're staying focused on the topic at hand. It's really important because meetings go by and nothing gets decided, and it's just mind-numbing. But if you kind of are determined to boom, 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 have progress and, let people be heard, but, with the system. And if you've got an issue with somebody, maybe you don't call it out in front of everybody. You talk to them privately, just a bunch of little rules like that. It's really cool. It's suggested that, there's a whole bunch of suggestions, but creating your own corporation, believe it or not, is actually a fantastic idea. So those are the nuts and bolts of it. For me, I'm mostly passionate about personal dynamics, and that's where things typically break down in our society. It's really hard for us to share with people, share ideas, share our land, and share our stuff, in the space and ideas. It's really hard, and it seems like fun, but typically speaking, again, in North America, people like to have their stuff and exactly where they want it, and so it's just hard having somebody else have such an opinion of where it should go, and you want it there. So that's where most of the work is. It is how can you show up to a meeting, to a space, to a gathering, centered and present and open. Like, who else has got it down? I'll think of them. There's another group that's really got it down. And but it's a lot about patience and getting over ourselves, not being righteous, and if somebody's got 40 years experience gardening, for God's sakes, let them make a lot of the decisions. Just be quiet for a second and just let them talk, That's seriously the biggest problem. Blah, blah. Everyone kind of wants to cut in. And if it's not a huge concern, just let it go. For God's sakes, let it move along. That's, I don't know, more advice I have for you. But seriously, we're in big trouble, folks. The system is crashing, I believe. Not to, be scary, to try and scare anyone out there, but it's crashing. And we're not, the government is not going to save us. It's not going to happen. We have to do it ourselves. It's grassroots people, organizations, and systems that are going to make the future happen. And that's just the way it is. And it's romantic, but underneath it all, there's a lot of work we need to do to be able to share and have compassion for people that are different than us. And so that's where the big work is, and that's what I do with people, right? I do the coaching and the counseling for people. And so if you're struggling with your friends and family, or finding you don't have community, you're trying to build a community, come talk to me. It's my passion, my biggest passion. I've got a lot of things to think about and talk about and share and hear what you've got to say about it. So, yeah, hope you all beautiful people. Take care of yourselves.